How to damp track. So, what's a damp track? A damp track is what makes things sort of wiggle on their own. Think of like a cattail or maybe a charger cord. This bone constraint essentially just makes it easier to animate something with those kinds of physics, because I think you'd end up with carpal tunnel and scoliosis before you end up finishing animating each and every bone. So how do you make one of these? First, you make your model. I'm using a cylinder made from a cube, but you can do whatever you want. Just make sure it's not too long or too thin, otherwise you might have trouble later on. Next, add your armature. Start at the base and align it with your model. Make sure you allow your bones to be visible by selecting in front under viewport display. Go into edit mode and press E to extrude more bones until you fill the model. Once you're at the very end, make sure to add an extra smaller bone outside of the model. You'll see why you need this later. Now you can go back to object mode. Select the model and then shift select the armature. From there you're going to press Ctrl P and you should get a little pop-up menu. And in that menu, you're going to look for with automatic weights. Select that. Now you're going to go into pose mode. Once you're there, go into bone constraints and make sure that you're under bone constraints and not object constraints. Once you're there, go to the side of the model with the extra bone that peeks out of the model. Select it and then shift select the bone next to it. After that, click new bone constraint and under tracking, select damped track. Once selected, look down to where it says target and select armature. Another little thing should pop up below target that says bone, and then use the eyedropper to select the tip bone, or the bone that comes before the green highlighted one. Now below that, go to where it says influence, and make sure you're under that and not head tail, because I made that mistake and sat at my PC for about 30 minutes trying to figure out what the problem was. Anyways, go to influence and change the number to 0.5. Some people make the number greater depending on how far away the bone is from the base, but I've gotten similar results when I just set everything to 0.5, and it also just makes everything easier. Now rinse and repeat by selecting the highlighted green bone and then the gray bone that comes after it. And then, wow, you got a little wiggly thing.